Hello, Heidi. How are you today?
Hello, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. How are you doing?
Oh, today is March. March started.
Yeah, yeah. And it's your Monday as well, right?
Yeah. No, no, no.
No, it's Sunday. Wait, Sunday.
Yeah, yeah.
So how is your weekend going?
Last week it's getting warmer and warmer, and
Uh-huh.
so I decided to sew something for spring.
Uh-huh.
Then yesterday I designed and I made a pattern and cut the cloth. Today
Uh-huh.
I started sewing with a sewing machine.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Wow. Because, well, I mean, this is the month that it changes technically to spring, so for at least it's not March 1st yet for me. I still have 2 more hours. So,
Oh, really?
yeah. Yeah, so we're at it's 10 p.m. here on the 28th. So,
Actually, if I go to the shopping mall, the shops are already changed. The clothes are already spring, very bright.
yeah. I've noticed that today too. I was in actually in Walmart, and I noticed that as well, that they're really starting to get spring clothes and stuff, which is amazing because there's a lot of places right now that are just covered in snow.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah, the east coast of the U.S. like apparently is still has some winter conditions, which is amazing. So,
I think I have some cold, the very cold days of twice or three times. But I don't want to wear the thick coat anymore. So yes, from
uh-huh,
this I was storing the thick coat
uh-huh,
jacket.
uh-huh. So,
Storing room.
yeah, so in your mind it's already spring. So
Yeah.
that's great. That's great. My favorite season is winter. But
Really?
here in Idaho though we've had a very mild winter. And we had
Mhm.
about a week or 2 weeks in November where it was cold, and a little bit in December, and that's been it. We've had all of February has been spring-like conditions, and we'll probably have showers and stuff in March, but it won't ever get winter conditions
Mhm.
again. So so there have been people already mowing their lawn and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So it's very mild for the
Uh,
wintertime here. So well, the skiers are complaining because
mhm.
they're wanting they're saying that the East Coast has taken all our snow. So
Yeah,
and the East
actually,
Coast.
even Japan is very long archipelago, so very
Uh-huh,
northern. The still ski, they can do the skiing, and
uh-huh.
mountains are still covered by ski and snow.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. And well, in Oregon, normally, I don't know now, but a lot of times in Mount Hood is high enough that you could ski year round. So, I mean, it's not as good as during the winter time, but yeah. But anyway, so the topic today is on coffee, and it's kind of a funny thing for me to be teaching this just simply because I hate coffee.
Oh,
I don't
really?
drink. Yeah, I
Why?
don't drink it at all, and so, um, but I
Most
talk.
of Americans love coffee.
No, not all Americans do, but a lot of us do. A lot of people do. Starbucks started so do you drink a lot of coffee? Do you like coffee?
Sometimes I go to the Starbucks, and usually I go to local coffee shop. But
Mm-hmm.
Starbucks has a large size and a small size and middle size.
Mm-hmm.
Japanese large size is like American, less than American small size.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So yeah, so they have a small, medium, and large there. So
yeah. Once I went to American, New York, then
uh-huh.
I arrived on Starbucks at first
Uh-huh.
from airport. Then
Uh-huh.
center station or something. Then
At
I
Central.
entered Starbucks. I ordered a small size, but I was surprised. It's very big.
Yes, so true in the States. It's like, and a lot of restaurants, the portion sizes are just huge. So, hello, Ming.
Hi.
Would you agree that the portion sizes here in the U.S. are really big compared to China? So you live in
Uh,
Chicago, right?
yeah, but I saw the image once. They said a medium size, no, a large size. I think it's a large size. McDonald's fries is bigger than like no, a small size American McDonald's fries is bigger than
A
uh
large.
a large Japanese fries at McDonald's. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I can believe that. In fact, if you go to McDonald's, you can't actually order small anything. It's their smallest size is what they call medium. And so when you say, well, I want a small drink, they say medium, and we're like, whatever, you know. So, but I guess I don't know why they do that, but yeah. So, Ming, is it still very cold in Chicago?
Yeah, we've had we the past 2 weeks has been mostly below 32 degrees.
Really? Okay,
Yeah,
so that's below freezing in below zero in Celsius. Wow,
right.
wow. And so, how are the people in Illinois making it? Because they're not used to that.
No, we are very used to it.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess not. I lived in Southern Illinois, and they definitely weren't. So,
Oh, okay. But
uh,
I thought the entire northern U.S. is covered in snow or below sub 32 degree temperature.
mm-mm.
No?
I was just telling Heidi the Pacific Northwest. We are at spring conditions right now, and we have been for the last 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So, average is about 15 degrees. It does get cold in the at night, but it doesn't get cold. Doesn't get below freezing at all. So
Hmm.
yeah. So and we're of course yeah. Even I think northern Idaho is like that as well because I'm in the southern part, but it's still north of Chicago. So
Yeah, it's
anyway,
just Chicago then.
yeah. So all right. Well, so the topic we're going to do today is on coffee personality. So Ming, do you drink coffee? Why or why not? And what kind of coffee do you like?
Yes, I drink coffee in the morning sometime because they are free in the office
Mm.
to give myself, can you say a boost?
Mhm. Give myself a
Um,
boost. Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, and how about you, Heidi? Do you drink coffee?
Yes, I drink coffee. But coffee is for me it's a mood. So I don't drink coffee in my house. I bought some iced coffee, the package of iced coffee
Mhm.
in the refrigerator. Then every
Mhm.
morning I pour in the glass iced coffee and milk.
Mm.
Iced coffee and milk. I
Okay.
forced to drink milk for my bone, but
Mm.
all the milk is a little boring, so I mixed coffee.
Uh-huh.
Then if I want to drink coffee, I go to the coffee shop.
Yeah, I could think you were telling me that there's this one coffee shop you go to all the time, isn't it?
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
3 or 4 coffee shops,
Oh, really?
regular coffee shops. So
Uh,
it depends on the mood of the day. I change
uh-huh.
the coffee shop.
Really? Okay, so it depends if you say if you're in a mood where you don't want to talk to anybody, you go to one coffee shop, or if you want to talk, you go to another one, or like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Wow, that's funny. Yeah, it kind of reminds me. Did you guys ever see the TV show back in the 90s, Frasier? Either one of you see that show? they go to a coffee shop all the time. It's part of one of their sets that they go to. So kind of reminded me of that. But yeah, I am a non-coffee drinker, and when I go to coffee, I usually drink hot chocolate or tea or soda. So, but I don't drink coffee. And when I lived in Korea, Korea I think had it was like the coffee shop capital of the world. I think at that time they had many coffee shops, and I remember going and ordering hot chocolate, and I guess they put a little bit of coffee in it, and I was the only one that could taste it. I do not like coffee. So
In Japan, the coffee fee is around $3, so quite expensive.
really,
So I can't afford to the coffee shop twice or 3 times a day. But while I was staying in Italy, the coffee price was very cheap.
uh-huh.
0.9 euro or something.
Yeah, so
So
90 cents.
yeah, so I
Yeah,
also went to coffee shop.
yeah, yeah. I do believe in if I remember right, my time in Italy, my traveling companions both drank a lot of coffee because it was
Yeah.
cheap. So
And
yeah,
even coffee is very delicious in Italy. I love the cappuccino.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
In
All right.
cappuccino in Japan, it's very expensive, so I drink a lot of cappuccino every day in Italy.
Yeah. Okay. What we're going to do now, we're going to look at these character traits. We're going to study the following adjectives and find their meaning in a dictionary, or ask me, and describe each person below. And I hear myself. I'm not sure where or how. Okay, you both muted, and now I don't hear anything. So we have the words cappuccino, cold and sweet coffee, health conscious, instant coffee, rude, latte, confident, impatient, laid back, sensitive, black coffee, demanding, impulsive, and moody. Okay, so what I'd like you guys, first of all, are there any words here that you guys do not know? So everybody's fine on these words?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's okay.
Okay. And Ming, are you fine too? Okay. So number one, Heidi, could you read number one and see if you can match that the word with number one?
Nicola never says things like please, thank you, good morning. Rude. No, rude.
Yes, that is the correct answer. It is rude. And I always forget to do this writing thing till I get to it. So Nicola never says things like please, thank you, and good morning. Question for you: in your cultures, is it important to say please, thank you, and good morning?
Yes, it's very important. So even
Mhm.
in foreign countries, only Japanese says thank you to the cashier.
Yeah, well, I've noticed that there's some cultures where it's not important to say thank you to bus drivers or taxi drivers or cashiers and
So
things like that.
it's
In the
custom.
States, it's very important.
In Japanese custom, so our face is the same, Chinese and Korean. But
Mhm.
other foreigners, Thailand or some countries, recognize if we say thank you, paying money.
Mhm. Yeah. How about Ming? How about China? Is it important to say please, thank you, and good morning?
It is polite to say such things to
Mhm.
people you know,
Mhm.
but I don't think it's as important as in Japan.
Mhm. So to a cashier, to someone you don't know, or to a bus driver, you wouldn't say it, for example.
I would, but not everyone does
Not
it.
everybody does. Yeah, because that's one of the things I noticed in several of the countries I've been to, and Korea being one of them, is that the only people that would say thank you when we left the bus was me and my friends. So I was like, really? Okay. So Ming, could you read number 2?
Paul goes running every morning and he never eats fast food.
So what would Paul be considered?
Health conscious.
Health conscious, yes. Okay, health conscious. All right, and number 3, Anna. Heidi, could you read that one?
Anna is not afraid to speak in public. Confident.
Yes, she is confident. Okay, and number 4, Ming.
Be careful what you say in front of Michael. He doesn't like it when people criticize him. He is sensitive.
Sensitive, perfect. Okay, and Heidi, number 5.
Joe is never stressed. Laid back.
Yes, so Joe is laid back, perfect. Okay, and number 6, Ming.
Katrina wants everything to be perfect all the time. He is.
She is.
Oh, she is. Demanding.
Perfect, demanding. Okay, and Heidi, number 7.
Alan often does things without thinking. Impulsive.
Impulsive, yes. Okay, and number 8, Ming.
John doesn't like waiting. If I am 5 minutes late, he goes crazy. He is also demanding.
No, there's another word there.
He is moody.
That would be the next one. So.
It's like me.
Impatient.
Impatient, yeah.
Impatient.
Heidi, are you impatient?
Yeah, I can't wait for long.
Okay, that's good to know.
I hate putting myself in the long line.
I'm with you there. I cannot stand waiting in line. I'll go somewhere else if there's a long line.
If I want to eat some delicious things, but if I find a long line in front of a shop, restaurant, I choose another restaurant, even though it's not delicious. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm very similar in that respect. So, all right, Ming. No, Heidi, could you read number 9?
At the moment, Kate is very friendly, but in 1 minute, she can become angry or depressed.
So she can become angry or depressed. So she is moody. Okay. So Ming, based on these words, what would you consider yourself?
I am laid back, impatient, moody, and sensitive.
Really? Okay, so laid back, patient, moody, and sensitive. Okay. That's interesting to say laid back, but at the same time you're impatient. So, but it's possible. So, and Heidi, how would you consider yourself? How would you describe yourself?
Sensitive, demanding. I think I'm a perfectionist.
Okay.
And impatient.
Impatient. Okay. Yeah.
The moody sometimes.
Okay. Yeah. And I am demanding. Especially with family members, I expect a lot from people. And then I can be laid back. And some people see me as moody. I don't consider myself moody, but some people see it. So, all right. So let's we are going to read an article about a study on coffee drinkers and their character traits. In the sentences below, put latte, cappuccino, black coffee, and instant instant coffee and cold and sweet coffee, then read the text to check your answers. So I was wondering what these were doing. They were put in the wrong place. So so what do you think? So we're guessing on this one. Heidi, what do you think on number one? People who, can you read that one?
People who drink can sometimes be rude and impatient. Wow.
So what do you think?
Black coffee.
Okay, so people who drink black coffee. So that's your guess. Okay. And Ming, can you guess the next one?
Some drinkers can be a little moody.
So what kind? Latte drinkers, cappuccino drinkers?
Cappuccino.
Okay. Okay. Cappuccino. It'll be interesting to see what the answers are. I've forgotten already. So number three, Heidi.
People who drink tend to be confident but sometimes impulsive. I think we took instant coffee.
Instant, okay.
Because impulsive, I can't wait.
I can't wait, so they go for the instant. They don't want to wait. Okay, number four, Ming.
Some drinkers tend to be very demanding and health conscious. Black coffee.
Okay, so your guess is black. Okay. We got two black things, so we'll see which one is right. Okay, and then number five, Heidi, what's your guess on this one?
People who drink latte.
Latte.
Yeah.
Okay, people who drink lattes tend to be laid back. Okay. Okay. What does your coffee say about you? A new study reveals the personality traits of caffeine lovers. Okay, but caffeine is not always in coffee. What about the soda drinkers like myself? So, all right, so Heidi, can you read the first paragraph?
Okay, every morning in the UK, a caffeine lovers drink 70 million cups of coffee.
Yeah, so caffeine, very good. Ming, next one.
But drinking coffee does not only give you energy in the early morning. The type of coffee that you like to drink can also reveal a lot about your personality, according to a new study.
Okay, I'll read the next one. Clinical psychologist Dr. Ramani Durvasula analyzed 1,000 coffee drinkers and looked at common character traits. For example, patience, perfectionism, friendliness, sensitivity, and social confidence. Heidi, can you read the next one?
Okay. In her result, Dr. Durvasula found that people who prefer black coffee have a tendency to prefer the simple life. However, they can also sometimes be ruder and more impatient than the other groups, and they dislike changes.
Okay, and Ming, the next one.
In contrast, latte drinkers typically want to please other people, but they can also be slightly moodier than black coffee drinkers.
Perfectionist cappuccino drinkers seem to have the most demanding personalities. According to Dr. Durvasula's research, they tend to be more controlling and obsessive than the other groups. They also tend to be the most sensitive group, and they can be very health conscious. Heidi.
Instant coffee drinkers seem to be much more laid back than the other groups. They often delay things that they need to do.
Okay, and Ming.
Finally, people who prefer their coffee cold and sweet were considered to be socially confident, trendsetters, or sometimes impulsive.
Okay, are there any words or phrases in here that you do not know? Okay, so we're totally fine. Understood. Okay. All right. So the answers here. Heidi, did you read this before? How did you know this? You got it right. People who drink black coffee can sometimes be rude and impatient. So number 2 was not correct. Does anybody remember what the answer for this one was?
Latte, I think.
Yeah, latte. Latte drinkers can be a little moody. So of course this is just fun. It isn't really true. But all right, number 3. Does anybody know the correct answer for this one? It's not instant.
Cold and sweet coffee.
Yeah, cold and sweet coffee. And sweet coffee. Okay, and number 4. Does anyone remember the answer for that one?
Cappuccino.
Yes, cappuccino.
Yeah, cappuccino.
And Heidi, what kind of coffee do you usually drink?
Black coffee.
Would you say that you would fit into this, or did they miss the mark?
I'm impatient, yes.
Okay.
I drink black coffee.
Uh-huh.
But I like cappuccino if price is low, if it's lower.
Uh-huh.
Only price.
Okay. Okay. So you go based on price. Okay. So you're cappuccino drinking. Do you tend to be demanding and health conscious?
Yeah, I think so. As I mentioned before, I'm perfectionist.
Yeah. So, okay. And Ming, what kind of coffee do you drink usually?
I don't fit into, I guess, instant coffee because that's
Uh-huh.
fast and convenient.
Is that what you usually drink, though?
Yeah, but there's many flavor.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay. And you said that you are laid back, which sounds like I would say you're laid back just based on your voice, but that's all I know about you. So okay, all right, yeah. So this is just a fun thing, but it's kind of a fun idea. That do you think that people choose like the types of coffee or the types of drinks or the foods based on their personality? What do you think? Anybody have an opinion there?
Yeah, I think so. For example, food. Some people choose spicy food, but instead, some people don't like spicy food.
Hmm. Yeah, but is it their personality or is it their upbringing?
Maybe personality. I think spicy food, the eaters are a little sensitive.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, because I know that I lived in when I lived in Finland, all their food is bland. There's no spice in their food, and most of the Finns that I knew didn't like spicy food. Um, so I wondered if it has to do with their
And,
personality
and
or
I feel a little moody.
yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Some people bring the pepper or something, red pepper
Uh-huh.
in the handbags.
Yeah, that's true. They bring their own seasonings for food. So, all right. Well, let's find the noun forms in each of the adjectives below. So we have confident. The noun is confidence. What is the noun for patient? Does anybody know? Ming, do you know the answer?
Patience.
Yes. Okay. And number 3, Heidi, do you know what is the noun for sensitive?
Sensitive noun. Sensitivity.
Yes, perfect. Okay, and then Ming, what is the noun for friendly?
Friend.
Okay, it's actually friendliness,
Oh.
because a friend is a noun, but it doesn't mean the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right. So, what do you think of the information in the article? Is it true? Think about yourself and your friends or colleagues. So, could this be true, or is it just an English lesson? What do you think, Ming?
I think you brought up an interesting point. The environment or the upbringing.
Uh-huh.
I think I drink instant coffee all the time because it's just what's available to me.
Mhm. Mhm.
If I could choose, I would be more adventurous and try different kind of coffee and base my preference based on the taste
Mhm.
and the price, maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Heidi, do you have anything more to say about this topic?
Yeah, it's very interesting. For
Yeah.
example, women around me, almost
Uh-huh.
all women put sugar and milk in the coffee.
Mhm.
But in my case, I don't put any sugar and milk. Uh, so no, putting sugar and milk, the people are quite normal.
That's funny. That's funny. It's do they put milk or do they put cream?
No, usually cream
Mhm.
in the coffee
Because
shop.
yeah, because that's one of the things I learned the difference between parts of the world and Europe. Because a lot of the Europeans will just take some milk and put it in there. Where in the like here in the States, it's they have a coffee creamer that they use.
Yeah, even Japan will use cream.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and I was very surprised by that. And I actually before I moved to Europe, I wouldn't drink coffee or tea. But after I learned the milk trick, um, I actually became kind of a tea drinker. I still don't drink tea all that much, but if I'm really cold or in a situation where all I'm offered is coffee or tea and I need to be polite, I will um, I will take tea. But I don't normally like either one. But at least I learned the milk trick. So
In Muslim countries, they drink tea and mint mixed, mint tea.
tea and mint.
Yes, it was very
Oh,
delicious, very sweet. I
yeah.
visited Tunisia. Then
Uh-huh.
I drank a lot of mint tea. Then after
Okay.
that, I love it. I bought
Uh-huh.
some mint tea from Tunisia.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes I drink mint tea in Japan.
Okay. Yeah. No, we have a student here in Verbling from Tunisia. Um, I'll have to ask her about it. So, yeah, cool. All right. Um, so what we're going to do continue on this lesson is comparative and superlative adjectives. Let's look at these two sentences from the text. Heidi, can you read the first one since you are a perfectionist?
Uh-huh.
Can you read
Uh,
the first line? 'Cause you are a perfectionist, so that's why I
um,
chose.
Perfectionist cappuccino drinkers seem to have the most demanding personalities.
Okay,
It,
and Ming,
ah,
Ming, can you read the second line?
Instant coffee drinkers seem to be much more laid back than the other groups.
Okay, so more laid back and the most demanding are the comparative and superlative forms of laid back and demanding. How do we form the comparative and superlative forms of adjectives? Study the page before. We're going to go through this really, really quick because I know that both of you, being advanced speakers, actually know this much very well. So, words with one syllable, we add an er. So we have cheap, cheaper, nice, nicer. Superlative form, which is the most. One syllable, cheapest, nicest. Two syllables ending in y, you have early, earlier, lucky, luckier, or early, earliest, lucky, luckiest. Two or more syllables, you use more. So expensive, you have more expensive. Boring, you have more boring. Most expensive, most expensive. Boring, most boring. So important points to remember. Maybe some of this might be new, maybe not. After comparatives, use than. The bus is cheaper than the train. Before comparative forms, you use much, a lot, a bit, a little, or slightly. Plane tickets are much more expensive than train tickets. The United States is a lot bigger than Mexico. And also number 3, we usually use the article the before superlative forms. So the plane is the fastest option. He is one of the most interesting people I know. And then there are these adjectives, as you know, that have irregular forms. We have good, better, best, bad, worst, worst, far, further, farther, furthest, and of course we've got all kinds of them. So let's go ahead and practice this real quick, and if we want to move into a more free conversation, I'm totally fine with that. So let's complete each sentences using a comparative form with much, a lot, slightly, a little, a bit. More than one answer is possible. So we have a smart car and SUV. The smart car is only $1,000 cheaper, and it only goes 80 kilometers per hour versus the SUV that goes 200 kilometers per hour. So what we're going to do is we'll fill in these sentences, and then let's talk about cars a little bit. So number 1, the SUV is much faster than the smart car. Number 2, Heidi, could you do that one?
The smart car is much slower than this SUV.
Okay. And number 3, Ming?
The SUV is more expensive than a smart car.
Let's try to do either much or a lot, slightly, a little, a bit.
Oh, it says slightly more expensive than the smart car.
Okay. And number 4, Heidi?
The SUV is much bigger than the smart car.
Much bigger than the smart car. Okay. Number 5, Ming?
The smart car is a little bit cheaper than the SUV.
Oops. Okay, so a little bit cheaper. Okay, and then number 6, Heidi?
The smart car is a lot smaller than the SUV.
Okay. Now, question for you. Looking at these different comparisons, if you were in the market for a car, Heidi, which would you buy? Would you buy a smart car or would you buy an SUV?
Yeah, smart car, sure.
Okay, why?
Because Japan, the streets are very narrow. Some places are very wide, but I need to go to the even narrow road. So smart car is much easier to drive.
Okay. Would you ever take the smart car on a trip up to another part of Japan using the freeway since it goes so slow, or would you just keep it as a city car?
Before I had a car, now I don't have any car. Then it was very small, very cute, like this one, green color.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I usually went to the shopping mall or some place. Then it's very good to put the parking lot. But I can't the big car like this one. Yeah, it's very difficult.
Okay. All right. Ming, how about you? Which car would you buy?
SUV, because it just has so many more advantages over the smart car. It's faster, it's much bigger, and smart car is very limited.
Mhm.
like you said, can only use as a city car,
Mhm.
and it's not even. It's pretty expensive for a small car.
Yeah. 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 I mean, that's if I had the money for both cars, I'd get both. And the SUV for around town, not the SUV, the smart car for around town, and the SUV if I go anywhere further than 5 or 10 miles from home. So, because going only 80 kilometers an hour is quite slow, isn't it?
Yeah,
Or is that quite fast?
it's fast enough
Okay, it is fast enough.
in
Okay.
the city. Yeah.
hmm Okay. All right. So let's go on to practice two. So let's complete each sentence with a comparative or superlative form of the verb in brackets. Hi, Ken. How are you? Welcome.
Yes, hello.
Hi. All right.
Yes.
So we're
Mhm.
we're practicing superlatives and comparatives. We just talked about coffee personality. I read an article. So question for you, Kim. What kind of coffee, Ken, what
Mhm.
kind of coffee do you drink when you go to a
Mm,
coffee shop?
kind of blend coffee. But
Wh-
if I go to the coffee shop, I tend to order the Kilimanjaro.
What is that?
Kind of African coffee. It's a bit sour coffee.
Oh, okay.
Kilimanjaro, the mountain, the name of the mountain of the African country.
Kilimanjaro.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Kilimanjaro. So what kind of personality would he? Because wasn't even mentioned in the article.
It's a bit sour. I like that sour taste of of
Really?
Kilimanjaro. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Because their only choices here were let's see. Um, sorry. The choices were black coffee, latte,
Mhm.
cold and sweet coffee, cappuccino, and instant coffee. So if you're an instant coffee
Ah.
drinker, you're laid back. If you drink cappuccinos, you're demanding and
Mhm.
health conscious. If you
Mhm.
drink cold and sweet coffee, you're confident but sometimes
Mhm.
impulsive. Latte drinkers are moody, and
Mhm.
black coffee drinkers are rude and impatient.
Mhm. I see.
but but you're not there. So but it's kind of a fun topic. Anyway, now we're practicing superlatives and comparatives, and everybody just explain why they would buy one or the other. How about you? Would you buy a smart car or an
Mhm.
SUV? Even though the smart car is just a little bit cheaper
Mhm.
and a
And,
lot slower.
hmm, smart car like this is a bit too small. I need uh, a bigger bigger type smart car than
Okay, so
this
you
this
okay,
picture.
so you need a big. Are there bigger smart cars like that?
No, I don't know. But maybe smart car is an old navigation or kind of old drive system or something like that.
Uh-huh. I don't know. I know almost bought one about 10 years ago when I was in Finland.
Mm.
So, but would you ever buy an SUV though? Is that too big for Japan?
Sometimes the road is very narrow, so
Mm-hmm.
in that case, yeah, it's a bit big.
Mm-hmm.
And our parking lot is sometimes narrow, so maybe smart car is easier
Mm-hmm. For
to
your
draw.
situation. Yeah, that's what Heidi said. It's like in
Mhm.
Japan, it's really the only choice. Okay. So, let's complete each sentence with comparative or superlative form of the verbs in brackets, and then let's discuss these sentences as well. Honey is sweeter than bread. This is the worst weather we've had in years. Now, in my country, in my state, not my country, I would say that this is absolutely not true. Um, how about in Chicago, Ming? Is that true for Chicago?
The weather
Yeah, is it the worst weather that Chicago's had in years, or is it normal?
is one of the worst. It's one of the worst. Worst, not the worst, but one of the
Okay,
worst.
one of the worst weather. Okay, all right. And how about in Japan, Heidi?
I
In
think
your part of Japan?
this winter is normal. We
Okay.
had twice or three times had snow, only that. So
Okay.
normal.
So it sounds like Idaho. So and is that the same in your part of Japan too, Ken?
Yeah, it's not so bad, yeah, this year. Yeah.
Okay. Number 3, Ming, can you read that one?
Italian is much easier to learn than Chinese.
Okay, would you say that that is true or false? Do you agree or disagree?
Well, I've never learned Italian, so I can't make a fair judgment.
Okay. Okay. What do you guys, Ken, what do you think? Do you think Italian could be easier than Chinese? Hello? I think he's having a problem. Okay, Heidi, what do you think? Is it
Yeah,
Italian?
much easier than Chinese. I don't know Chinese, but Italian is easier. And
Okay.
easier than English for Japanese.
Is Italian easier than English?
Yeah, Italian pronunciation is very similar to Japanese.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Right, number 4. Heidi, can you do that one?
Chinese is much more difficult to learn than Italian.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I saw a website several years ago, and it was put on by the Department of Defense Language Institute, and they were rating all the different languages for Americans to learn, and Chinese was especially, I think it was Mandarin Chinese was in the one of the most difficult languages to learn. So, is Cantonese easier than Mandarin? Ming, do you know?
I don't speak Cantonese, so I don't know.
Oh, you don't know? Okay. All right. Number 5. Ken, can you speak yet?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Good. Okay. Can you do number 5?
Okay, the town square is a lot farther than I thought.
Okay, a lot farther than I thought. Okay. All right. And number 6, Ming.
This is one of the most delicious dishes I've ever eaten.
Yes, one of the most delicious. Perfect. Could you tell us about probably the most delicious dish you've ever eaten that you can, in your memory?
Probably a lobster dish.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you don't get lobster. Not for me, at least. I don't eat lobster that often, so when I have lobster, it's like the most delicious things in the world.
Okay. Heidi, how about you? What is possibly one of the most delicious dishes you've ever eaten?
I think Japanese food.
Anything Japanese?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And Ken, can you think of the most delicious dish you've ever eaten?
When I was a kid, when I first saw the Chinese dumpling, I thought it was very delicious. I misunderstood it was banana, but when I eat it, it tastes very different from banana, and I thought, wow, it was delicious.
Yeah. Yeah. If the Chinese dumpling is anything like how they make it in Korea, I would agree that it is very, very good. So, yeah, for me, I would say the most delicious dish I've ever had was when I was traveling and I was in Estonia. I was in Tallinn, and we had taken a ship over from Helsinki to Tallinn, and the ship was supposed to be 4 hours, and it turned into 8 hours. And I was too cheap to pay for any food on the ship, on the ferry. And so when I finally got to this restaurant, it was a medieval restaurant where we sat on the floor, and the restaurant was dark, and you could not see what you were eating. You just had to. And I would say that is probably one of the most delicious meals I've ever had. And I don't know if it was because I was so hungry or if the food was really good. So I don't know which one. But anyway, number 7. Heidi, can you read that?
Joe is the youngest member of his family. His 2 brothers are much older than him.
Much older than him. Okay. All right. And Ken, can you do number 8?
Microsoft is one of the biggest companies in the world.
Thank you. Microsoft is one of the biggest companies in the world. Very good. There are a lot of big companies in Japan. What is probably the biggest company in Japan?
Toyota, probably.
Toyota. Okay. And Ming, do you have any idea what the biggest company in China would be?
Alibaba.
Yeah, probably that. Or I don't know, the Chinese bank, I think.
Alibaba?
Chinese petroleum.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so everything is state-run, though, or run by the government, too, so,
yeah.
Isn't it?
Not everything.
Well, they've got, it's interesting because they've got a government-controlled private commerce type thing. It's very interesting. So, and Heidi, do you agree with Ken that Toyota is probably the biggest company in Japan?
Yes, recently I learned about that. And Toyota is the biggest company in Japan, but still only 5% of total sales.
Really? So Toyota only has 5% of the market share in Japan?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. And what is the most common car sold then in Japan?
Toyota, sure.
It is still Toyota. Okay.
Next, the Honda.
Uh-huh.
But there are a big gap.
Okay. Yeah. Well, how about the Subaru? Because when I was growing up, the Subaru was the car to have. Is it still popular, or?
No, it's small. Yeah, a big company, but it's still small.
It's still small compared to Toyota.
There are many automakers.
Okay.
Honda, Suzuki,
Yeah.
Nissan, Mitsubishi.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I grew up, my dad always drove Japanese cars, and I've always wanted to buy a Japanese car, but it's really weird. I've always gotten an American car, so right now I'm driving Ford, and that isn't my choice, but that's what I drive. So, all right, number 9. Ming, can you read that one?
My old telephones were much heavier than modern smartphones.
Yeah. So, when did you guys join the cell phone age? Heidi, what was your first cell phone like?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't have cell phone.
You don't have a cell phone now?
Yeah, until last year I had, but I canceled it.
Really? Oh, wow. Okay. I just assumed everybody had a cell phone. That's wow. Great. So Ming, how about you? When did you join the cell phone age?
When I was 17, I think.
Mm-hmm. And was that in the 90s or 2000s or?
It was 2000.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I joined a little bit around the same time. It was either 99 or 2000 when I got my first cell phone. It was a Nokia, and it was much heavier than the smartphones are now. So, all right, number 10, Heidi, can you do that one?
Yeah. Michael is a professional singer. He is a lot more talented than his brother.
Yes, more talented. Okay. Okay. All right, and number 11, Ming, can you do that one?
This is the coldest month of the year, so I need to buy some sweater.
Okay. So, Heidi, in Japan, what do you consider the coldest month of the year in Japan, or does it depend on the year?
January. And sometimes February is colder, but this year January was the coldest.
Okay, and that's the same in Idaho as well. January is always colder. Ming, how about in China?
Probably January.
Okay, and then in Chicago, do you know?
Chicago gets really cold around January, late January and February.
Okay, all right. And this is amazing. This is the second class in a row where I've gotten through the entire material. So, wow. Since you guys have been in my classes before, you know that doesn't happen all the time. So, anyway, I do want to thank you for your participation. It looks like we're done, and I hope you learned some new words and phrases and just got a chance to speak. So, thank you, and have a great day. And Ming, sleep well. I guess it's probably close to your bedtime. Yeah. So,
thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.